Hey, my name's Georgie Wileman, and I've been living with endometriosis since I was 13 years old. At its worst, I decided to try to start documenting it. I'm going to take you through some of my work today from the series This Is Endometriosis, so here we go. I'm going to start with the first image from the series, and one that really sums up the endometriosis experience. This photograph is a self-portrait taken with the assistance of those that cared for me. The image is taken after my 5th surgery for endometriosis, showing my many scars and dating the times they were opened and reopened. After taking it, I liked how my circle tattoo reflected the shapes that made by my scars. I had this tattoo to remind me that life continues on in a time that felt incredibly desperate. This second image is also a self-portrait. The twisted hands resemble the pain, head buried into the pillow. This is how I spent much of my life. I wanted to keep the colour palette very light and clinical, to represent the white walls and sheets I was always surrounded in, whether at home or in hospital. Much of the work is self-portraits, as for many years I was too sick to leave the house and to shoot others. I visited Lena Dunham at one of her many hospital stays. The word Hollywood is tattooed across her finger, a juxtaposition of two worlds. Wearing the same clothes she arrived in, Lena sits waiting to be discharged, a scene I lived on repeat. This image is titled Again. This image is titled You Can Get Dressed Now, the title perhaps resonating for many more than the image itself. Regular exams are intrusive. They strip you of your personal boundaries and make you keep saying yes to tests and exams that you desperately want to refuse. In this self-portrait, the pain is represented through the tension in my hands. My finger wrapped around the shirt has a scar from where I had bitten into my flesh, a habit developed to cope with the increasing pain. My eyes are empty, exhausted. The roots of my hair show the time I spent indoors. My journal from this time reads, I have never felt less alive. This image is of Corey and his partner Dion. Corey is a trans man with endometriosis, an experience I felt was incredibly important to include. What strikes me with this image is how much love is captured here, yet Corey is somewhere else, alone. This is Julie. Julie uses a heat pad on her stomach despite the burns and the open wounds it has inflicted. A desperate act that many with this pain can recognize, one of the only physical indicators of the pain under the skin. This shot of Latia shows the result of thoracic endometriosis. The bleeding in her lungs has caused her 4 lung collapses, resulting in multiple surgeries. I wanted to represent the people who live this life with children in tow. This is Natalie. She spent months unable to hold her child, her surgical wounds and pain trying to heal. I wanted the children in this project to be a secondary focus, keeping them to the side or bottom of the shots. This image is another self-portrait. The waistbands on my trousers are cut, a nod to the pain in my stomach and pelvis. My body weight was dropping, unable to eat or digest food. I wanted to document the pain of having a slim body with a swollen and tender stomach, the cruelty of a disease that makes you look pregnant, forces you into maternity clothes, and enforces regular ultrasounds, while being one of the leading causes of infertility. For me, this will be the closest I ever come to the experience of being pregnant. This shot is of Lena again. This is her car journey home from the hospital. A very familiar scene. Each knock of the car causes pain. Her eyes portray the drugs that haven't yet worn off. In this photograph, Abby sits on the floor of her shower, heat on high, trying to burn away the pain. I wanted to represent a dramatically underweight body in this work, as endometriosis so often affects the ability to eat or digest food. I had more dramatic shots from this set, but this is the one that felt right. I always feel it's so important to make work that's very hard to look at in some way beautiful. Some of the shots I could have chosen were simply too hard to see. Latia stands in a hospital bathroom. She has had 4 surgeries for this disease. Wards, ORs, ERs, ceiling tiles and saline drips. Smells that make your stomach churn with memory, bleach and pink almond soap. Steps are cautious, heavy, IV line pulled behind. And finally, I wanted to end with this self-portrait, taken the day I found out I needed another surgery. I wrote down when I walked into my home and decided to document the moment. To me, this portrait portrays the grief, the anger, and the pain. I've worked on this project for several years and decided to bring it to a close recently, needing to take a break from the work myself. And that's it from me. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you following along. And stay indoors, stay safe, wash your hands, and be well. Thank you.